ask questions.
Hey, everybody, it's Lauren Lee with the Lauren Lee Group and eXp Realty. Hope you're all doing really great today. I have a really awesome person with me today that I'm going to interview. We have Nicki Gregory Cook, which with the HSE Group out of Amarillo, Texas. How you doing today, Nicki?
I'm so good. How are you, Lauren?
I'm great. Hey, I am so excited to have you on as an agent to focus on the founding of your company, Agents Act. And I wanted you to tell me about it because it really is a great contributor to a problem that is out there in our world affecting children all over. And it's child and human trafficking. Do you want to tell us about your foundation?
Yes, we are. So, Agents Act stands for Agents Against Child Trafficking. It's the first real estate agent, and industry led initiative to come together and fight child trafficking in particular, and child sex trafficking to be even more specific. So, um, we got started about 2.5, 3 years ago. Just a little small group of us, and it's kind of taken off and growing and having events and fundraisers and interviews like this. And it's been going really well. We've been able to do some really good things. So I'm really excited with where it's headed right now.
I mean, that's great. I remember we met at a mastermind here in Cincinnati.
Yep.
Notice everybody our fabulous Bengal colors on my overlay. I'm so excited for the Super Bowl on Sunday. But we met at that mastermind. And I remember when I met you, you had talked about just starting this endeavor and that you had met someone who had gone to Thailand. And it was revealed to her that there was a serious problem going on, and she had taken it upon herself to go over there and try to help children. And being an agent, you wanted to collaborate with other agents to really make an impact on her work because I guess she needed resources to really, impact the change.
Yes. So she was one of the very first people that I had talked to that was working in that realm. Since then, I have been meeting quite a few people that are doing that, but she's where we started. She is the one that I feel like was put in my path to really start researching and looking at what was going on out there. And yeah, so when I met her, she is a boots on the ground organization in Thailand on the Burmese border that fights child trafficking on a daily basis, 24/7. And so that was my inspiration. And in finding that one of the biggest things that they need help with is obviously funds, raising funds. It's a little difficult to be out rescuing children and out, fundraising at the same time. That becomes probably a little difficult to do all of that together. So the more I spoke with her and talked about that, I realized that I was not called to, be out there necessarily boots on the ground. I have gone and seen some things so that I could kind of know what I was talking about and kind of be able to answer questions from a personal viewpoint. And so, but I knew what my job would be to connect people with people out there that were wanting to make a difference and didn't know how, and put together something so that we could do that in the most efficient way possible.
So at this mastermind, you were with different leaders in real estate, and you were telling me that everyone kind of came around you and said, let's do something. Let's make something happen. Let's reach out to other agents. Let's organize something. So tell me kind of how that grew out of this event with other real estate leaders.
So I tend to be kind of a visionary personality. I have ideas all the time, exploding everywhere. And what I am not good at is, like you just said, the organizing and the putting the action steps together and the plan together. But that wasn't my biggest problem, to be honest. My biggest problem was that the people I was surrounding myself with weren't big enough thinkers, I think. And not that I'm not saying at all like they're bad people or I'm not being negative and saying that. I'm just saying I knew I needed to elevate the rooms that I was in. I knew I needed to be in rooms where I wasn't the smartest person in the room, which shouldn't be that hard to do, but I wanted to be the least smart person in the room. Okay. And so I did start to find ways and get into these rooms there. And the one in particular that you're talking about that I shared with you, I remember looking around that room thinking my initial response was, I am in the wrong room. Like, I am not at this level. I was mind blown at just listening to the conversations that were happening. But at the same time, I had such a huge draw and huge desire to be in those rooms because I knew I was connected to something in my future and my destiny that was bigger than me and bigger than I could think. I could kind of see the vision, but I did not have all the pieces of the puzzle. But I needed to be in a room where someone thought bigger than I do. And so I was in this room listening to this conversation, and my very first few thoughts were, I'm in the wrong room. And a couple hours into that day, it started occurring to me, I'm in the right room. I'm finally in the right room where I can speak things out and say things that I want to do, and people will not just pay attention, not just think it's crazy, not think that my ideas are just crazy and so far out there, but that they would actually say it. That's yes. They would say yes, not no, first of all. And then I was shocked and surprised that these people they went beyond that to how can we do that? How can we work together? What do you need from us? And these are people that I was there to learn from that were stepping up and saying, what do you need from us to make this happen? And that is how it was born in that room right there. And it was such a great feeling to be in a room where you're like, okay, this is a good idea, right? This is a good idea. These people are highly intelligent. They're saying it's a good idea. And they're not just saying, no, it's not just a good idea. You have to make it happen. So everything from people who had the skills and technology, the organizational skills, the coaching skills. I mean, I had them all now at my fingertips to help make it happen.
How energizing.
Yeah.
So it was born, it took off 2 to 3 years ago. And now you're working with other agents to fundraise, to actually take funds to give to this organization in Thailand. And they are boots on the ground. And tell me a little bit about how they're rescuing these children, more of the nuts and bolts of what they're doing and what they're doing with the money and how it's really impacting these kids.
So they do everything from going out into the communities, educating people what to look for, educating. A lot of times this is happening in very impoverished areas where they maybe don't feel like they even have, an option. A lot of times people think that these children have been stolen or kidnapped. And the truth of the matter is a lot of times they are probably more times than not, they're sold by their family members in exchange, for maybe feeding the rest of the family or other things. It can be a whole, there's a whole lot to that. But poverty is the problem. That's part of the problem. The other part of the problem is on the flip side of that, the money that's fueling the industry on the end part of it, right? The end of that, from the child going from their family, and then there's different levels. That's what I'm trying to say. And there it seemed as though they were. It could be anything from being taken from the family, just sold to a couple individuals, to a child brothel, all the way to the red light district. And so, but it is a huge business. It is a booming business, and it's very hard to fight. And so these people are going in, and I say boots on the ground, literally boots on the ground. They have raised up their own army that goes in, and they educate, and then they become friends with the community, and then they set up hotlines, and they go out and they reach out to all the children, because those kids know if their sister's being sold, or their neighbor, or their cousin. And so they know who to go to and who to talk to, and who those people are. And so they go out and make those relationships so that they can have that information, hopefully ahead of it happening. So that is something that impressed me so much, and how they handle it, and how they are outsmarting the system, I guess, and going in and finding ways to, educate, and then also find other ways for these communities. They have communities where they had high percentages of child trafficking happening down to 0%, because they just went in and helped them find ways to take care of their families other ways. And so I'm not sure if I just answered the questions that you were asking me, but
that's amazing. And I do remember you were mentioning to me also that they were using some of the money to house the children specifically.
Right.
And that, they don't have a place once they rescue these people, these children. They don't go back to their families. I'm assuming they're homeless. They have no.
Right.
Tell me what happens to the kids.
Once they have that child, most of the time, they're going to need to go through like a healing season. They're going to need therapy and a whole array of things. Just that part of it alone, to be able to integrate them into households and communities and families. But then from there, they set up family style households. It's not a cold, it's very warm family household environment. That is a very purposeful part of it to make it work. And so in that, and then they are feeding them, and all the utilities and all of the diapers and all of the things that they need to raise children from there on. And so that's a big part of the expense. The other big part of the expense is that they need houses. They have, 60 to 70 in this one area of the world, just this one, and they are expanding to other countries, and we're going to be helping wherever they are expanding to. Just in that one little area, the thing that caught my attention is them telling me they were having 60 to 70 children trafficked a day close by, and that they could figure out how to get them, but they didn't have houses to house them in. So that is a big major expense, and that was going to take something, people with focus on how do we raise that much money to help build houses. So that's kind of where we took off from.
Wow. And you said that this is on the Burmese border in Thailand specifically right now, and they're going into South America and they're going into Central America, because are they following kind of a path where people move individuals, or is this just hot spots around the world where there's poverty and that this happens in these areas?
So they kind of focused on where's the biggest child trafficking problem, and they start there, and then they go to the next one and the next one and the next one. So yes, hotspots that they felt like they could make an impact.
And what is their staff like? I mean, how many people does it take to run this organization and to go into all these places? Does she find local people to continue the support, and then she trains them, and then they move to other locations?
Yes, they have this down. They've nailed efficiency and how to do this and they just do it extremely well. And again, that's why I partnered up, because I wanted someone who was vetted and who I knew that if we are, asking people to help with a problem, that I've made sure it's going to a place that it's taking care of the problem. It's not money sitting in an account, just sitting there because they don't even maybe know how to spend the money or where to put it, what's the best place possible to be effective. So yes, they have training. They train they actually train couples to go in and be house parents.
Mhm.
They have the you now we're getting to a part where I am not educated to really go into all that they do. To be honest, it's a lot. And I've sat and listened to them talk about it, and it is mind blowing to me, all the things that go into making sure that these children are taken care of from this point on, because most of them, if not all of them, are traumatized. And then you have that on top of them needing a family environment and making sure that those parents are equipped for all of that. And so there's a lot to it.
That's just amazing. As agents, I love the collaboration that agents, have amongst each other, whether it's in masterminds, whether it's growing our businesses, whether we're on, in different groups, to actually go out there and grow and achieve wealth. But, when you spoke to me about this, it just really hit my heart. We can collaborate as individuals and as humans, as realtors, and go out there and make an impact through you and through this organization to have our money go directly to saving a child's life and changing the trajectory of their future. What is the name of this organization? I know you had mentioned it earlier to me. The one that she's headed? Does
Yeah,
she
life impact.
Life Impact International. So that's Life Impact International. And your organization again is agentsact.com.
Uh-huh.
And that's the one where we as agents can go to and become an ambassador or do a one-time donation
Yes.
to assist her organization.
Right.
I
And
mean,
yeah,
I mean, that it's just an amazing program that you were so inspired to found this connection with this woman that you had met, and how it's hopefully going to change a lot of children's lives.
that's the goal. that is that is what we're working hard to achieve.
Absolutely. Well, Nicki, I just want to thank you for being here today and to sharing with all of us agents who are, always looking for ways to grow, but this can help our hearts grow.
Yes.
This can help us really, collaborate again as individuals and shine a light on a very serious human problem in our world. We have problems like that here in the United States. And I'm going to actually start looking into more ways that I can personally become involved in helping here in the States as well. And I hope just by talking about these difficult things that we can actually change the world, even if it's just one donation at a time.
Absolutely. And I just want to add that if they do go to agentsact.com, we do have a learn more button now. So they can go to that button. Please do. If you even think you're remotely interested, you can go in and learn what it is we're doing. We have videos on there that explain what it is much more in depth. And so that's what I'm asking everyone to do, is just go to that learn more button and look into it.
All righty. Well, once again, I'm so happy to have you, Nicki Gregory Cook, founder of Agents Act. Go to agentsact.com for more information to collaborate as a real estate agent to impact the extermination, hopefully, of child and human trafficking here in Thailand specifically.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. You have a great day.
You too.
Thanks, everybody.